And he said, well, then I'm sorry, this position, this management training position is only for graduates. And I said, hey, hold on. And I remember I was walking through the University of Southern California's campus. I'm walking by in my backpack and I'm headed to class, and I get tapped on the shoulder by a gentleman named Howard. And Howard was the lead HR for the Cintas Corporation, which is a uniform company. I turned around and he said, you look like a stud. And I didn't know what to say. I was 19 years old or around that age, and I was like, I am. I needed to find a better job. I was moving furniture at the time for my grandpa's moving and storage business. And he goes, you want to come interview with us? And I said, absolutely. And then I sat down with a gentleman named Tony, who was the vice president. They said, hey, you got the job and you could start on Monday. And I said, time out. I can't start on Monday. I've got class. And they said, what do you mean you have class? I thought you had graduated. And I said, no, I was just walking through and Howard tapped me on the shoulder and I had answered the questions. I never said that I graduated school. I haven't graduated yet. I actually still had 1.5 years or 2 years remaining. And he said, well, then I'm sorry, this position, this management training position is only for graduates. And I said, hey, hold on. And there was a moment of fear. And I had the stomach and I saw an opportunity, but my stomach was really hurting and I was about to make a bold declaration that was a little bit outside my character at the time, but I didn't have the confidence to say something, but I needed this position. And I said, hey, call your boss and tell him you're about to lose a stud. Because Howard called me a stud and I am a stud, and it shouldn't be just that I'm not a graduate, that I can't take the position. How about this? Allow me to start minimum wage and let me come in 40 hours a week, and I'll do my schooling 16 units on Mondays and Wednesdays, and on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'll come in at minimum wage. And if after 30 days, if I'm not good, then fire me. But if I do a great job, then I want you to put me on as the management training position, but I need Mondays and Wednesdays off, and I'll do that position for a while, only working 4 days a week. And they said, we've never done something like this. And I said, but every rule that's out there, leaders, every rule that's out there is enforced by a person. And that person can make a discretionary call to treat that rule as a guideline or to hold that standard hard. And exceptions are always made when it's time to make an exception. And I was hoping for an exception. And long story short, by the grace of God, and thank you to Howard, thank you to Tony, and thank you to the Cintas Corporation, they gave me a shot on a part-time basis.